Dude, like I don't know how I've done it, but I have like at least 10-year sample library. Like 10 years I haven't lost them yet.
Amazing.
And yeah, so this is an important thing because that's my biggest fear ever. Like I'm so attached to my little samples. I have I have too many. I have too many samples, but I'm attached to them and I don't want to lose them, you know?
Dude, I know exactly what you mean, man. Yeah, it's like part of your identity after a certain point, and it's like part of your craft. You know, if you look at this as like a tradesman and you've been working at your craft for years and years, like part of that is the sort of like arcane little bits you accumulate over time, you know? Whether, of course, yeah. Because I think too, I don't know how old you are, but I feel like we're maybe somewhere in the same range. And it's like it's funny with the internet because there's different eras of technology, meaning there's different ways, depending on when you got into it, that you find samples and that you dig for stuff. And, you know, some of that shit you can't get anymore. So it's like some of it really is. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, so when I started, like, there was no good samples, like, at all. Honestly, the best samples that I had when I started out were from, like, forums. There's, like, a forum called Neurohop Forum.
Yeah, I was not that active on it, but I definitely was a member.
Yeah. And so, like, those were some of the best samples that I had starting out. It's just, like, you know, from just dudes trying to make Neurohop. But from the day, like, because yeah, we didn't have Splice. Even then, we had, I guess, Loop Masters or like Vengeance.
Vengeance was big. I remember when every single song you could hear the Vengeance samples.
So I'm like actively trying to use the most obvious Vengeance samples because I think it's like cool now. It's been so long that it's fun to use the down sweep that is clearly like VEH17 or something. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm right there with you. Yeah, 100%. Not to mention the fact, you know, people shit on Vengeance samples for so long. I think just because they were so omnipresent, they were everywhere. But legitimately, they were the best samples at the time.
Yeah.
There's no
what else
question.
Did you have? Yeah, they're the best. Dude, I still love them. Like, they're actually legitimately good to this day.
No, they're good. I still use, I 100% still use them. Yeah. Yeah, there's something about... I feel like more artists are coming around to this idea now, and it's been something I've always kind of loved, is like just losing the irony. Because for a while it would be like, oh, look at this like sound I'm using that everyone knows. Isn't this ironic and hip? But I think we're to the point now where we can do away with that shit, being like, no, stop trying to be cool. This is just a good sound. This is just fun. Like, there's a reason this gets used all the time.
I'm definitely into the irony of it a little bit. Like, personally, I mean, they're good sounds, but I'm at the point where I would love to like use a sound that is super obvious and people, dude, it's kind of like maybe like an amen break or something, like recognizable. You know what I mean? And I think that's cute if you like contextualize it in a good way. Yeah, I'm not trying to like hate on the sample or anything. It's just like embracing the obviousness of it, if that makes any sense.
No, exactly, man. I know exactly what you mean, because there's something about it's also a collective consciousness thing, right? So it's like, if you use this sound that's recognizable, then all of a sudden it's triggering all of these memories and this nostalgia and everybody who hears it. And then if you're also sort of recontextualizing it in what you're doing, then it's this sort of automatic shared experience. You know, all of a sudden, everyone who's listening to your music, already there's a connection. Already people are thinking about it, trying to understand your perspective on it. I don't know, man. I think it's just a good trick in general.
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't say any better. That's exactly how I feel about it.
I love that we just jumped straight into like deep sample philosophy talk. But let me say, before we get too deep, man, thank you for taking the time to do this, man. I'm stoked to talk to you.
Oh, dude. I'm very excited because I actually listen to your show all the time. So I live in Las Vegas. And I do the long drive to like LA or San, because I'm from San Diego. So I do a long drive and I put on Willy Joy all of the time. The trap beat that you made plays in my head constantly.
Thank you. No, that means so much, man. That means really that's awesome. And it's funny because so I lived in San Diego for like 6 years. I'm not from there, but I lived there. And during that time is when I started the podcast. And so I was driving up to LA like every single week to do interviews and, work with people and whatever. But that for me, those drives were intense podcast listening times too. So it's kind of cool to hear that you were doing the same thing, but just with my podcast. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm stoked. One of my favorite is you had Danny Sudden Death on the show like forever ago.
Yeah.
And I've listened to that one multiple times. It's very funny. I just remember him saying that like he makes music to beat your friends up.
yeah. Dude, I remember that one too. We had the best time. We recorded that in Baltimore in a hotel room, and it was nighttime, and there was like a nice view out the window. And it was the first time I had met Danny, so I was just getting to know him. And exactly like you said, like everything he said was like, it was so funny to me. And I've listened to it again too, where he was like, yeah, it's all anger and aggression and like just music to murder. He didn't say that, but you know what I mean.
Paraphrasing.
And then he's the nicest dude. And in the thing, I'm sure you heard it too. I kept being like, you keep saying you're really angry, but you seem very nice.
It's all bottled up. Yeah. He keeps all of his anger in the moose mask.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. But yeah, I mean, I get that too. I don't know. There's something to, and maybe we can even use this as a way to start talking about your album, which I fucking love, man. I listened to the whole thing this morning.
Okay. I sent it yesterday, so I wasn't sure if you had time to listen to it. I'm so glad you did, because like I did a interview a while ago, and I was like just trying to explain it. And I felt so crazy. Like
there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Like I did not know. I was like, can you? Yeah. So I'm so glad you heard it. Dude, so I don't have to explain it.
Oh, no. Yeah. And by the time this comes out, it will be out for everyone to listen to and all that. So I think we're all good. But dude, it's phenomenal. It's really good. Like,
that's very kind. Thank you very much.
Everyone on this podcast, like I like what they do, or I find it interesting in one way or another. But like the album you made is very much far and beyond. It's the most interesting thing I've heard in a while. I'm
going to cry, dude. You're going to make me cry.
Hey, let's go. 5 minutes in, we're crying.
Wait, do you release the video of this somewhere?
Yeah, it's up on YouTube. Almost nobody watches it because we were audio only for so long that I think people kind of missed it when we just in the pandemic started doing Zoom and video and all that. But it'll be out there.
Okay.
We can get the high def of you crying. Yeah.
The 100 YouTube viewers are going to like see the tears coming down.
But let me just to finish the thought with talking about Danny and Sudden Death and all that. There's something in your music too that there's this energy. It's like a crazy manic, like color saturated maximalist kind of thing. Not always. Sometimes it's minimal, but like I think you know what I mean, where it's like,
yeah, of course,
whatever extreme you're going to, you really push it like past the limit. And yes. And then, now talking to you now, you're like a nice, calm dude. So there is something, I think, to the like push pull of kind of being like the quiet, nice artist person, but then someone hearing the music who has kind of only known you as the person and being like, what is going on in there?
No, it's funny. No, I think I'm a pretty wacky dude. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty wacky. So,
all right.
Yeah.
What do we mean when we say wacky?
But Danny's a better example of like being the chillest person ever and making like the most evil music. Like that's a better like black and white contrast polarity. I think I'm a wacky dude. I think I make wacky music.
I guess the question is, do you think the wackiness manifests in like daily life? Like, do people who know you see you and be like, oh, there's the wacky guy?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking about like weird outfits? Are we talking about pulling pranks? What's the wackiness?
Oh God. I don't know. That's a crazy question. It's hard to say. Like, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I
identify.
I have hot takes.
Okay.
I live like by a very strong code too. I have like a strong moral code, and that's probably annoying to a lot of people because I like kind of shove it on people sometimes.
Okay. Can we talk about like what kind of code? I'm very curious.
Oh God. I hate doing this because I'm not trying to preach. I don't want to go like on a mantle and preach. I'm like a crazy vegan. Like, okay. I've been vegan 8 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
I drive a Prius, a vegan Prius. So like no leather, no, literally right. Totally. Yeah. I'm like huge on recycling. Basically my whole thing is I just like don't want to bother anybody or anything. And that's my whole code.
Including like, animals, including the environment.
Humans, animals, the environment. I just like leave everyone the fuck alone.
That's a really nice, concise way to say it, man. That's not ranty to me at all. I admire that. I'm a huge animal guy. And I've said this before, but if I really lived by my own moral code, I would be vegan too. I'm vegetarian currently.
That's good. Like, you're on your way.
Vegan aspiring, but I'm just fucking lazy,
bro,
man.
Hit me up, bro. I'll tap you in. It's fun. I'll show you the way. Like, you got to follow some cool vegan Instagrams. You gotta have me as your friend. I'll be like, hey, did you eat cheese today?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna feel so bad if you say yes. We're gonna get you there.
Well, I think accountability is important in anything like that. Like veganism, any kind of code, music too, I think is just as helpful to just check in with friends, be like, send me the thing you were talking about. Let me hear it, all that kind of stuff.
I think that's massive. That's funny. This is a total segue, but it's actually a good pivot because a lot of the time, so I like have my label and I host Q&As and like for almost every release, and I host them. So I bring the artist on and we talk, and then people ask questions. And a lot of the time, people ask like, "How do you, break in? Like, how do you get good?" Like all these like they're like broad questions, and I always say, have a friend group. Have a friend group of people where you're challenging each other. You're holding each other accountable. You're bouncing off of your talents.
Yeah.
So that's what you basically said. I'm just
elaborating. No. I love this too, man, because this is something that also comes up on this podcast a lot. Because I have people asking the same thing, and I always feel bad because there's nothing you can really tell people. It's not like there's a hidden secret that just we know and they don't.
But, yeah.
But, what you said, I think, is really the only true answer is you have to find people you like being around with similar interests, and you just have to do shit that you all think is cool. It really, I think, especially these days, people get so distracted looking at social media, you can see what everybody's doing all the time, including all of your favorite artists. And I think it's almost distracted. Like, I don't know that that's a good thing really when you're just starting out, because I don't know how it was for you. You tell me, but for me, when I started out, it was exactly what you just said. It was just me and a few friends getting really excited about, a very like specific sub genre of dance music. And for a couple of years, like all we did was just nerd out and fuck around with it. There was no thought of getting famous or making money. And then all the rest of the shit kind of follows along as long as you're following, what's exciting to you.
I mean, yeah.
How was exactly. It for you? How did it start for you? I mean, how did you, we're bouncing around, but like, did you have that group of friends early on?
Of course I do. And I still do. And all of us, I mean, we are all kind of like in our little corners of the music industry now, but we're all still close forever. Like we're all best buds. but we're all in our own little pockets now, like in the
Right.
scene. So like my group, so I mean, I obviously when I started, it was like 2010 or something. Maybe I don't know. This project is maybe 2013, the Oolacile thing. But so I was very alone. There was no resources. I had no idea what was going on. I had no friends. I was in San Diego. No one made music like dubstep music or like
Right.
drum and bass or whatever I was doing at the time. So I was very alone in that sense. So I was just uploading music to SoundCloud, and eventually people were like, "Oh, this is a cool song," and I like would click on their thing and like, "Oh, they also have a cool song." I mean, like we just sending a message on SoundCloud or whatever. And eventually I created a really good group of friends, and we would talk on Skype back when that was a thing that people did. Yeah. So like a group of people that like are really close to me is Murda, Tommy. He lived with me in LA for a while. He's back in UK right now. And then Samplifier, Sammy, he's in France. He also stayed with me for a while. And then obviously Danny, Sudden Death. He hit me up on SoundCloud and was like, "Bro, you're crazy." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then he just moved to LA and drove down in his BMW, which got stolen, by the way.
Got stolen in LA?
Yes. Anyways, that's a whole different story. But his now stolen BMW, he would drive down in and he would sleep on my couch, and we would just make music all day. And then Max, Uber. And then Uber would come down from Orange County, and like we would just all collectively sit in my little basement and we just make music all day long. And they're all these guys are still people that I love and respect so much. And we're all still good friends, but we're all obviously doing different things, you know?
Right. And I think that's part of it too. I think back to the people I started off with, and I think about where we were then and where we are now. And it's sort of, yeah, I guess it is just that sort of bittersweetness of nostalgia where I'm like, oh man, those were some of the best times of my life. Those early days with no expectations and just hanging out, like exploring, pushing boundaries, not really knowing what we were doing. Like I kind of miss that. But then you look at where everybody ended up and it's like, fuck, man, that's kind of incredible. Like whether somebody's, a huge famous artist or whether somebody's totally out of the game, it's kind of, I don't know. I really enjoy tracking the paths of these things and just seeing where everybody goes. And you'll always have that connection, like you said,
Yeah, we're never going to lose it. No, but I think all of us like made some sort of footprint and impact on bass music. Like my group,
absolutely.
like I think we all contributed some way.
Oh yeah, of course. All the people you just named are still have been, still are influential in a lot of different ways. Okay, so this actually, you were talking about like influential in bass music. Listening to your new album, it's I won't say a departure, but I mean it's as far as the music I know you for. This is pushing far beyond that, and it made me wonder, like, do you, as far as bass music, dubstep, any of these labels that I think people would associate you with, like, do you see yourself as holding a torch for any particular sound or style? Is there like a ethos behind it?
No, I think I hold a torch in a sense where I run my label and I have to do my best to highlight the artists that I believe in and work on their projects. So in that sense, yes. But as far as anything else, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just with Halcyon, I'm just trying to push artists that I believe in. So I'm like kind of like gatekeeping in that way, which is like, I mean, it sounds negative, but it's real, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like picking and choosing like what I think is dope. Like you made a song that I really like. I'm going to invest like a month of my life and money into putting this like out there. You know what I mean? And then as far as my music goes, it's honestly, I'm just kind of like just dumping, like venting. Just it's not that like complicated or serious. Like I'm not thinking too critically about it. I'm just literally putting it out there, like just making a song.
Have you always done that, or do you feel like you're more free now than you used to be as far as that
I'm
goes?
way more free now. No, I thought way too hard about everything I did. When I was like, that's probably how you know me. Like the height of my career was like probably like 2016, 2017, like Disciple era stuff.
Right.
I was like releasing, on that label. And that's like when I was touring like 3 times a week, doing all that shit. And that's when I was overthinking every single thing, spending like literally a whole day on a kick drum type behavior. So yeah, I was definitely way critical. And also I think that music, some of the stuff I made is pretty cool, but I think it like is so much worse than the stuff I'm making now. Because I think the stuff I'm making now is like a lot more genuine and like sincere and like feels like an actual tangible piece of something, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does. I mean, it's something about, and I feel like this is something you've explored in your music a lot over the years, but the new album felt like the sort of the most full realization of it to me, of figuring out how to still, have the hallmarks of shit people know you for, as far as like crazy sound design and like sort of out there musical ideas, but without that taking over what is at the heart of it, like an emotive, stirring musical idea. You know what I mean?
Well said. Hey, dude, give me a high five right now. I love that. That makes me so happy. Yeah, of course, I'm not trying to alienate like my fans. I'm still trying to, make stuff that sounds crazy, has like good like production, has unique sound design. But exactly at the heart of it, it's meant to be like an emotive thing. It's meant to be expressive. And so rather than just spending the whole time on making the best mix down, the best fucking dubstep bass, those are like supplementary to the core of it, which is like a feeling that I have.
Well, how does it, if you're able to identify it, this is something I ask so many people this, and there's never a great answer because I think a lot of it is sort of intuitive, but the balancing like the technical side of it, because you're a very technically skilled producer with the depth of emotion, like is there a way, are there tricks you've learned along the way as far as not letting the technical nerdery sort of take over what you want to be, an emotional song?
I think that's a great question. And honestly, I think for my answer is it's I'm old. Like I've done it so long that it's not that like clinical to me anymore. It kind of happens. Like I hear something that's fucked up and I fix it, and it's immediate. You know what I mean? I'm not spending all this time anymore going surgical, spending like a day on a kick. I'm not doing any of that. Just try to write the song. And because I've done it mixing and like made so many records over however fucking long I've been doing this, it's so immediate now.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to that sort of tradesman, craftsman thing we were talking about at the beginning of this too, where I think, it's you put in those hours and just, all of a sudden you're not the apprentice anymore. You're the master or the veteran or whatever you want to call it. And
that's so weird. That's so weird to think about.
Isn't it though? I mean, but I really think that's how it works, because so much making art is weird. Being a creative person is weird because so much of it is just you pulling from the ether and you don't really know how it happens. And I mean, the longer I do this podcast, I think it's the only answer I've really found is just you get better at opening yourself up creatively and making better creative decisions. Like it's not really, of course, learning new techniques and plugins and all that is great.
Oh, of course.
But like it's not really that sort of differentiates like a good artist from a great artist,
A great artist can have terrible mixdowns and all that production shit, as long as they just made a good track. Like I listen to so much music, like punk rock records and stuff, and like indie records. And I'm like, sounds like it was recorded on an iPhone, like at a mile away. But like the song rocks, so I just listen to it. So it's not like, But I will say though, like in EDM stuff, like electronic music production, a good mix down can make a mid song rock.
Yes.
If that makes sense. But
yeah.
Which is a kind of a weird take because it's like you can't polish a turd, but honestly, you kind of can a little bit.
So I would add a little nuance to it because you can totally polish a turd, but no matter how polished it is, it's still a turd, right? So it's like you could polish a turd to make it look good against a bunch of other turds. But then, if somebody hands you, I don't know what something better than a turd like that.
This is a diamond encrusted turd. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what we're talking about.
Thank you for fixing my terrible metaphor. Yeah. Of course, getting the fundamentals down, everybody should do that. You got to have the fundamentals. That's just, that's going to help you forever if you can nail the fundamentals.
Well, I think there are like some like producer kind of hack secrets. Like there are some plugins that are really good, like that I have now. Like Soothe is like a really good one. Like it's so valuable, like amazingly valuable. I don't know. I have like a bunch of random things that like just make my life so much easier. But anyways, that's besides the point. But for the producers listening, please buy Soothe. It is actually a game changer.
Soothe is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I use Soothe. I even use Soothe when I like edit this podcast. Like Soothe works on everything.
That's how good it is. Yeah, that's how good it is. It's used everywhere.
Yeah.
No, but at the end of the day, all you really need is just like good like volume control and EQ. Like, and you can, and maybe like a clipper, like saturation, something to like cut, or like a limiter. But yeah, those three things. So volume, clipping, EQ. Which is in literally every DAW ever. You can literally make a hit record. You can like literally win Grammys with just those three things.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And those are all, again, like those are all the fundamentals of like mixing and engineering, like those are basic concepts. Everybody should have a handle on that. Not that it's easy to learn when you don't know anything at the start, of course. And you can always get better at it. There's levels, blah, blah, blah. But I guess, just agreeing with you more or less that, yeah, those are the important stuff. All the rest is kind of personal taste. You find something you like, run with it, go into it, get excited, whatever. But I get bummed out when people think they need all these things, or when people fall prey to thinking that like, oh, I'm not inspired, so let me just, what plugin can I buy to fix my shitty song? Like that.
I'm a victim of that for sure.
Of course, we all are. But
yeah, I'm like, I haven't made music in like 2 weeks. Oh, this plugin looks cool. I'll just buy this, and then I just play with it for like an hour, and I'm like, oh, here's an idea, and then that gets me going, and that's worth the $100 I spent. If I can make a song that's gonna get me a booking or like do anything like that, like that's worth the $100 that I spent to buy that.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, because you're right. I think I misspoke there. Like, using a new tool to play and to get excited and inspired. Yeah. Amazing. Great. Perfect. Great idea. I guess for me, I think a lot of people, rather than fixing issues in an existing piece of work, will be like, oh no, there's just, if I can throw money at this bad idea and that'll somehow fix it, rather than doing the unpleasant work of going in and fixing your bad idea or just throwing it away and starting over, Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's the thing too. Like, this is also comes with time for me. Like I've learned this. I've released music that I just overworked. Like the idea was never really good to begin with. And I tried really hard to make it good, and it came out like, okay.
Story of my life, man.
If I just started with like a good idea, I wouldn't have had to work so hard. Like honestly, like a lot of the stuff on this record, I made 90% of like the track in a day.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's like, oh bro, here it is. This is actually like an idea I fuck with. I'm feeling it, write almost the entire song. And then I'll come back like a week later and like, give it a little fairy dust. And that's about it.
Dude, and that's the best. And, you go back and you listen to sort of the origin stories of like all the hit songs in the world, they're mostly all like that. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we wrote that in 10 minutes in 1972, and you know, then we played it for the next 40 years. You know, it's all like that.
And pay their grandchildren's mortgage.
Yeah, dude, exactly. I mean, okay, so this is actually something I wanted to ask you, and I feel like living in Vegas, maybe you have a more nuanced opinion than some too, because you're making art. Like you're making dance music, you're making bass music, but like what you're doing, I think, is really boundary pushing, and I think much more so than a lot of people in the bass music scene. And I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but
of course not.
To me, what you're doing is very out there in a good way. But I wanted to ask about sort of the art versus commerce concept for you. Because, you know, you're talking
Terrible
about
question.
like paying
I'm gonna cry.
Well, yeah, paying for your grandchildren's whatever. And you're out in Vegas, which, I mean, DJ culture in Vegas obviously couldn't be more commercialized at the high levels. So just in general, this is a very broad question, but like, is this something you've thought about, wrestled with as far as like, how far can I push it versus how digestible does it have to be versus, you know, can I pay my rent with it? All those kinds of ideas.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like I have 1,000 things I want to say to what you just asked. Well, first of all, yes, Vegas is like the most commercial thing ever.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with some of these commercial DJs that play at like Hakkasan and like Zouk and all these giant nightclubs. And it's awesome. It's impressive. It's fun. It's definitely not what I do.
Right.
But I get it. Like, I'm like, this is cool. Like,
oh, yeah.
If I had money, I would be doing this. You know what I mean? But also at the same end, we still have we have a downtown. We have like an arts district that is not the Strip. That's not
for
like
sure. Downtown Vegas is great.
Thing. So I have my buddy Lonnie. I don't know if you know Lonnie. He throws a party here in FBN every Tuesday, and he books like real dubstep, like Koki,
right?
Like Turnian sound, like I don't know, Ivy Lab, like just all these cool, legitimately dope like bass artists. He brings them in every week, every single week, every Tuesday.
Oh, that's cool.
So
man.
It's awesome. Yeah. So that makes me really like proud to live here. And honestly, it makes it fun. I can just like every Tuesday just be like, hey dude, I want to come to the club tonight. Oh, you're in. And I just watch the craziest like music ever.
Man, that's nice to hear, because that's the kind of thing that, at least in my mind, isn't around so much these days. Because back in the day, a little bit, every city had those like middle of the week, weekly parties where just they'd bring in whoever they thought was cool. And it was very much like a Cheers vibe where you'd see the same people, and it was this little community. And I think just because of the economics of DJing at this point, that's become a lot harder to maintain. So it's cool to hear that they're doing that.
Yeah. I get very sad thinking about the economics of DJing. So I'm going to go back and answer the other part of your question, which you're asking if I concern myself with how creative I can be, and also like how willing I am to like, you know, treat it as a job, right? That's what is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Making sure
No, for sure. So, I mean, I didn't even really know what I was asking, but that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm definitely very poor, but I have paid my bills off of exclusively music the past 8 years.
Yeah. Incredible.
I do not, I have a mortgage. So I have a house. I bought a house off of it. So that's amazing.
That's a big deal.
I don't own the thing. The bank owns the house, but I'm paying for it. Right. And yeah, I cook a lot. I don't really go out. When I go out, it's, you know, at my friend's show and I'm taken care of. It's free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of money. So I live very modestly because I have to, because I don't make hella loot. And that's fine. I'm happy because I believe in what I do, and I'm proud that I can, like, you know, make music that is expressive and feels genuine and sincere, and I can work on the label and like help share people's music that I believe in. Like all that is so much more fulfilling than having like money, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, that absolutely makes sense. I mean, it's cool to hear that view, man, because you're right that of course, when we all get to the end of our life and we're looking back, of course, you're not going to look back and be like, oh, that was great. I made so much money. You know, it's like, like that's never going to be what you're thinking about. Like, of course, you're going to be thinking about the community and the cool shit you did and the fun you had with friends. Like, obviously.
I'm just thinking of like someone dying and they're just like looking at their Chase account and it has like a bunch of zeros and they're like, yeah,
I nailed it. I mean, oh God knows, so man. Funny. I'm sure somebody out there is going to do that. But the thing with what you're doing, and you know, you've mentioned the Halcyon label a few times. I wrote this down because I'm a big fan of what you're doing with the label, but there's something about it that felt kind of different to me than a lot of artist labels, like the artist owned labels. Where to me, this is what it feels like to me. You tell me if you agree or what you think about it, but it feels like you are oftentimes putting it ahead of yourself. Like it feels like you believe this is an important thing that people should hear or appreciate or whatever. And you're putting it above yourself and like putting, priorities of the label in front of priorities of yours as an artist sometimes. And I don't know if you agree with that, but I think it's extremely respectable. Like it makes me take the label much more seriously than a lot of artist labels. You know what I mean?
No, you're 100% right. I mean, this is the reason I'm not releasing music. Like I did in the past, before the label, I'd be putting out a song every single month, right? I released 3 songs in the past like year. Right. It's because I'm like work on, not only am I like running the label, right, and like curating A&Ring, like working on the release, I'm also making like honestly half of the art that is there. And we make art. We don't have like a template or like any format. Like I literally sit down with the person and I'm like, what do you want? What do you envision this to look like? Like, what is it that you want? Can you please make me a mood board, a Pinterest, like a brief or something? And then if I can make it, then I'll go into Blender. I'll like make the whole thing. I'll like go into Illustrator. I'll do the designs. And then I do have an editor who does like, I have multiple editors who do like the final thingies. But anyways, my point is to say, I'm literally invested in this project, like making it. Like I'm in the dirt on this shit. It's not like I have a label, see ya, figure it out. No, I'm literally working on these projects every single time. Like I'm doing the thing.
I mean, it's crazy to think about, but now that we're talking about, like I'm thinking, and again, I'm not talking about anyone specifically, not shitting on anyone, but I would say almost every artist's label I can think of mostly serves, like there's a lot of great ones out there, but I think they almost all sort of serve as like a way to promote the artist who owns it. You know what I mean? Not that that's like a malevolent intention by that artist, but I think that's just how it ends up working out. And I think that's what's different for me, because when it's not that necessarily, then I'm more interested in what's going on there, you know?
Well, there should be like a quid pro quo, right? Like someone's benefiting somewhere, you know, like both parties should be benefiting, right? And so like, say you're like a big artist and maybe you're not that hands-on, but you're using your platform to like leverage somebody that helps them kind of get going. And also you're like, oh, I also have this cool label at the same time. You know what I mean? Like that's a good thing. It's a net positive is my point. Yeah. Right. For me, I have no fucking idea. I have no idea what's going on. I just believe so heavily in the artists that I work with. And we've released fucking amazing music and we've done really beautiful visuals and we've done cool shows. We throw in parties. And I don't know, just for me, it's just fulfilling and a fun thing to do. I have no idea if it's benefiting me. It's probably not. It's actually probably killing me. But it's a fun time, you know?
I mean, honestly, dude, at various points in the last 6 years, that's exactly how I felt about doing this podcast. I'm like, I don't really know if this is a good idea or not, but we're gonna keep this rolling.
Well, I hope you're managing it. I hope it's going smooth now.
Oh yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a machine at this point because we've been doing, you know, an episode a week for like over 6 years now. So it's, you know, it's just part of the fabric of my life, as I'm sure a lot of the label business is becoming for you, you know?
Yes.
But no, I love it, man. I wouldn't do it if I started getting bummed out by it because, you know, it's not like I'm getting paid big bucks either to do it. You do it because you love it.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, I'm happy to be here. One more high five. Camera high five.
There we go. One more.
Dude, it's so, like, I'm so happy to be talking to you. As I said, I listened to the show and like, I mean, if I was personable like you, I would definitely podcast vibe. Like, this is
dope.
Do you mean?
Like, you're very personable. I mean, honestly, you said you have a lot of hot takes. I feel like the podcast would do better if I leaned into hot takes more, you know? Like that's the kind of shit that does well, goes viral, all that. But not that I don't have hot take opinions, but it's never been my thing to really lean into it, you know? Yeah,
it's probably for the best, to be honest. I think there's a few of those out there already.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are. Without question, there are. But no, man, I'm glad to have you here, too. I've been sort of thinking in the background. I'm having such a good time talking to you. I want to make sure I actually make this a good interview, too. Let me ask you to bring it back to sort of you and getting into it and these early days when you found a group of friends on the internet and all that. I mean, what was going on before then? Were you like playing in bands as a teenager?
Yes.
What was the musical journey for you?
I've definitely answered this before, but sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah,
that came off so rude. I'm so sorry.
No, dude, I kind of like it when people tell me that.
Spinning back what I
No,
said.
no. I kind of like it. I like knowing that because then I'm like, all right, then we'll sort of go over because it's important, but we don't have to spend a million years talking about it. You know?
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Anyways, yeah. No, yes, I was definitely in bands. I was a guitar player. That's like. Honest, okay, I'm going to make this an interesting response.
Great.
When I was younger, I really wanted to be like a drawer, like illustrator. I was really into drawing, but I fucking sucked so much at it. I was so bad. I'm still terrible at it. It's like actually shocking how bad I am at it, considering how much time I put into it. So I like really, that's like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I want to fucking like draw things and like do all that. And then I don't know what the fuck happened in middle school. Also, I can swear, right?
Of course.
Is not,
yeah.
We're not going to get like demonetized by Jeff Bezos or something. Okay.
He's not watching this. Don't worry.
Okay. So in middle school, I don't know what happened. I just got really into like rock and roll and like metal. And I was like, I want to play guitar. And my parents were nice enough. Like they got me a guitar for Christmas. Started playing guitar. And I started really playing guitar, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like 10 hours a day guitar playing.
Was that, let me ask you, was that the first time something like that happened to you where just all of a sudden an interest took over your life?
Well, no, I was doing that with drawing.
Oh, okay.
But I sucked.
But you just weren't getting anywhere. Yeah.
I was getting nowhere with it. And then I was like starting like, learning riffs and like getting pretty good. And then, by the time high school went around, I was playing in bands and like playing shows. I mean, we're not like touring, like killing it or anything, but we were getting bookings and selling some tickets and had a little bit of a fan base. So,
and was this in San Diego?
Yes, in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you were born?
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So I was born in San Diego. I moved when I was about 21 to LA, lived there for 3 years. And then 4 years? I don't know. Then I moved to Vegas. So 3 places.
Was the Vegas thing just a cheaper cost of living thing. Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to save some loot.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you were probably a little early on that wave. I feel like a lot of people in our little world have made that decision to leave LA at this point.
Well, I honestly think that Vegas is going to be like the new LA in the coming years. I mean, like you have Shaleezy Group moved out here. Like that's already a massive thing. We have obviously all like the big club culture that's going on.
I mean, other people DJs moved out there. I know Abe OK is out there.
Yeah, he's here. Yeah,
there's somebody else is out there too.
He's also from San Diego too.
That's right. Yeah. When I moved, it bummed me out, man. Right when I moved to San Diego, he and I linked up and hung out a couple times. And then like a month after I moved, he left to go to LA. I was like,
oh, you're like, I have a friend. Yeah. No, I don't.
Yep, exactly.
See ya.
100%, dude. Yeah. But no, he's the best, man. I love that dude. You know what? He's another one, now that we brought him up, where I always admired his willingness to just jump into a crazy musical idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It worked out very well for him. Yeah. I mean, I don't know him super well, but I met him a few times. But yeah, I'm watching him like in San Diego, like become like a trap person, like when that was like a popping thing, and then just like, oh, now I make pop music,
right?
And then like kill it in pop music, and he's like, oh, I also make dubstep, and then kill it like doing that. Like it's just really interesting to like see how well-rounded and versatile he is and how successful he's been doing all those things.
Totally, man. Yeah. And the fact, kind of what we were saying earlier about like how, will this make money, that sort of thing. I mean, I remember when he sort of launched the poppier project, when he's singing and playing the guitar and all that. I mean, people didn't get it right away. Like I was impressed where he was like, no, this is it. Like he just stuck to it. And he was like, you'll get it eventually. Like we'll just keep pushing this. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like things that are like accepted immediately don't have good longevity. Like they're hot for like a minute and then they die. And then things that are like genuinely good are more of a slow burn. It takes time for them to, get to where they need to, and then they last longer.
Yeah, dude, 100%. But okay, so for you were trying to be a visual artist, a drawer, didn't work out. Then you got into the band thing. But all of this, just thinking about you as a kid is interesting because it sounds like for you, if you found an interest, whether you were good at it or not, that you were able to just dive in. It became your world for a while, that sort of thing. Like not every kid is like that. I mean, does that come from somewhere? Is that something you learned from watching your parents?
Well, no, okay. I was going to say this. I was allowed to do this because my parents let me, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of kids show an interest and their parents don't allow them to pursue it because they have like their own like idea of what they're going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of dreams get squashed that way, which is fucked up. But mine, they were like, oh, this guy seems really into this thing, let's let him do it. And like, you know what? Like, oh, he wants to play guitar. You know what? We'll buy him a guitar for Christmas. Like that. Like I'm privileged in that sense. Once again, I'm definitely not rich. We're like lower middle class. Like,
sure,
but I was enabled to do what I wanted to do, and thank fucking God I was, because now I can do all this shit.
No, of course.
Like,
yeah.
X years later. Yeah.
I mean, but having supportive parents is worth acknowledging. Not everybody has that, and that's
exactly.
Yeah, I had the same, and I'm very thankful for that. What did your folks do? Was there any context for the weird shit you were doing?
No, my dad's a lawyer. and my mom was working in like the nursery business, like greenhouses and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
But after she had me, she stopped like working full time and stuff. So not a career person.
You an only child?
No, I have two older sisters. I'm the little baby guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you the black sheep? Like, did they have like normal jobs, or did they do odd stuff too?
No. They're definitely less extravagant, flamboyant. I don't know how to describe myself. Less crazy.
Less wacky.
Less wacky. Let's go. We're bringing it back. Yeah, less wacky. My oldest sister, she does like, I don't actually fucking know what she does, to be honest. She works for this vegan, she's not vegan, but she works for like a vegan chicken company.
Okay.
Like doing something like high up, like corporate thing.
Oh, it's so funny to work for a vegan food company and not be vegan. That's so funny. I
feel like that's 90% of the people who work for vegan companies.
You're probably right. It's just, again, like, that's a very funny concept, but you're absolutely right.
And then my one that's not the oldest, but the one above me, she's in school right now. She's going to Berkeley. She has a full scholarship at Berkeley.
Oh, amazing.
So,
good for her.
I think she's trying to do licensing for like movies and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
I don't actually know the job, but she's trying to like do that, like get songs into movies.
Right. Yeah, no, that's interesting work, man. I've always thought about that kind of work. It's very similar to DJing because it really is, at the end of the day, it's sort of a curatorial job where you're trying to sort of pick something to heighten an emotion or a feeling. And the people who are really good at it have this vast knowledge of music and sounds. You know, again, like a DJ, like sample, your sample library that we were talking about, all of that. To me, it's a lot of connections to that world.
Yeah. I want to talk about the DJing thing a little bit too. Because I feel like in the past, I was very pigeonholed and like trying to make the craziest dubstep set ever. And now like my whole world is like so much more open. I listen to so much music and I have to, oh God, I'm going to go on so many tangents right now.
Please.
So anyways, I'm playing this release party, right? Which is probably going to already have happened by the time this comes out. But I booked Sizzy, who I don't know if you know who Sizzy is.
I do.
They are crazy good at making music and I have to play after them. So there's like no way I can like compete on like that level of dubstep. Right. So I'm just trying to like make, a diverse, unique party vibe and repertoire. But anyways, my point is to say that I've exposed myself to lots of different styles and have this more of a wide knowledge of various music.
Well, okay, this is something I wanted to ask you about, talking about the release party and DJing on sort of festival dubstep lineups that I'm sure you still get booked on because obviously you're in that world and these are your friends and it just makes sense. But how do you approach, doing a set as far as that goes that, represents you and is fun and satisfying artistically to you that still manages to satisfy Joe Dubstep who comes to the show.
Joe Dubstep. I'm playing for you, Joe Dubstep. Thank you for buying my ticket.
This is, I'll put this coda on it because I think this is getting into a bigger discussion, but I wanted to ask you too about your view of the current dubstep scene in general. Because you're so much closer to it than I am. I'm very much an outside observer. The majority of it, I don't find that interesting right now. But then there's individuals who are doing absolutely incredible work. But I wanted to get your take on it because honestly, I'm kind of just the peanut gallery when it comes to dubstep.
I'll answer both questions because you asked two. The first one is like, how do I perform and validate myself and also cater to a crowd?
Sure.
It depends. So it depends where the location, the event that I'm playing. So I'm doing this back to back with Automate at Summoning. We're just going to play dubstep. Like we're going to go just the hardest we can on dubstep. But I mean, I did we did a Halcyon stage at Cyclops Cove, which is like Subtronics' event in Florida. So that was, my stage.
Right.
I call the shots. I played, a very large repertoire of music. I started like house music, worked up into like dubstep. Then I got into like break beats and then into like gabber. Yeah. Like, so it depends on the events. Also, I did a Halcyon show in Vegas So I booked myself twice. I played a 30-minute set at Doors, and I just played jungle music the whole time.
Dude.
Yeah, and then at close, I just went full dubstep, you know?
That's kind of my favorite, man. I've been thinking about doing some stuff like that too, where, I like play at Doors and just play interesting shit and then come back later. And yeah, man, it's the best. I was just talking with Jaws about this because he's trying to... He's doing this like dual album concept where he put out one album that's kind of all like songwriting and like poppy and that sort of thing. And then a second album as a companion piece that's like all the bangers and bass music and all that. And he's doing this tour where he's playing 2 nights in every city. And like one night is kind of the like chill melodic night. And then the other night is like the, you know, the heavy banger night.
It's a dope concept.
Yeah, I think it's cool too. And, you know, obviously he's at a level where he can do that kind of thing and all that. But I've been thinking about different ways to do it because kind of like what you're talking about. And with him too, it's like when I DJ, I feel very constrained if I feel like I have to stick too much to, you know, one thing or one style. It's just not fun for me.
Oh yeah, it should always be fun. That's my point. Who cares? Honestly, who cares what anybody thinks? Like, you are the artist. Make arts. Like, do your thing.
I agree. My only qualifier there is in the live setting, you still have to make it connect with the crowd too.
Of course. Yeah. You don't want to just totally alienate. You have to have awareness. You know what I mean? You have to be aware of that's what I'm saying.
Which is why I like what you're talking about of like playing something different at the start, setting a vibe, and then coming back, you know, later on and giving the people what they want.
Yes. All right, and I'm going to answer your second question.
Yeah, let me know
I'm not going to go too into it because I'm going to get canceled on the internet. I think the whole music industry is just a fucking nightmare. I think it's really rough hellscape. It's really hard to break in. Really hard to break in. There's tons of amazing music that gets unnoticed and a lot of mids that gets glorified and praised all the time. That's my take.
That's not a hot take. That's a fact. I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
So this is why I started the label, because I'm trying to like create like an outlet, like a lane. Like I'm like literally trying to brute force the music industry. Like, hey, we're here now. Get used to it. Like I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do. So I think, on the other end of it though, I think some of the best dubstep music ever is getting made right now and beyond. I just think some of the best music ever is getting made right now. And there's so many amazing, talented artists. It's just nobody cares. No one's like, not nobody, but the general public is not acknowledging them.
Do you think
it's being made? It's being made. I promise.
I agree with you. Let me ask you a question about it. Do you think it's that the general public isn't accepting it, or do you think it's more of like an industry gatekeeping kind of thing that's not sort of putting it on a platform for the general public?
No, it's exactly that, right? So I think the general public, they're not sitting on SoundCloud all day trying to find the next big underground icon. You know what I mean?
They don't care.
So
it's helpful to remember. It's helpful to remember that Joe Dubstep doesn't care. Like Joe Dubstep is just turning on Spotify, putting on, you know, the For You playlist, and that's what he's listening to this week, you know?
Exactly. So it needs to be served to you. So there is that industry aspect of it. Someone in the industry that has, you know, the keys needs to be willing to like, oh, I really like, it's so fucked up. Like someone has to serve it to them so people can be like, I like it or I don't. And you know what? Sometimes they don't. And sometimes they do. And then sometimes they do and they make massive careers.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And I think it's the weird thing of, you know, before music discovery, I think was a lot more individual and personalized. And now, obviously, the algorithm can sort of learn about your tastes and maybe suggest some other stuff you like. But I feel like it doesn't the algorithm often doesn't push you beyond your boundaries. Whereas I think before, maybe you were on SoundCloud, maybe somebody, a friend would just recommend something, and you could kind of go down these weird rabbit holes and end up somewhere else. And I don't know if that is happening as much these days.
I don't know. I mean, from my experience, I just listen. So I have a good Spotify experience personally. I do. They serve up some cool music. I'm like, oh, this is dope. And like my algorithm on Spotify is eclectic, but that's because I've probably tailored it to be that way. So I cannot comment on everyone else's experience. So like, yeah, maybe if you only listen to top 40 pop records, then you're probably only going to get served up top 40 pop records.
Sure.
So I have no idea, but I do miss the era of like Blog House and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Blog era was huge for me, man. I talk about it all the time. And it's, it's, this is a total tangent, but I was like reading up on you, whatever I could find on the internet, just doing some research. And I found, I don't even remember what site it was, but I found like a very old blog somebody had written about you. And just being like, this is a cool artist to listen to or something. But it really made me nostalgic because it was so from that era. Like it was bad grammar, poorly spelled, very informal language, and kind of just like a guy rambling. Like it didn't, I wrote down a quote because it made me laugh so hard. They did like this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and then a rating. And this is you. This is about you. He says, what I like, sound design is just crazy. What I don't like, sometimes it really just sounds like noise. Rating 5 out of 5 stars. Made me laugh so hard.
Oh, that's really nice. That's honestly the best review I think I've had of my music. Thank you for sharing that. I feel so validated right now.
Oh, dude, yeah. It just made me laugh so hard. 5 out of 5 when it was like
like says this is noise.
Yeah.
5 out of 5.
Yeah. Great, man. Just made me nostalgic for a more chaotic era of music promotion. You know what I mean?
Wow, that was crazy that you had that ready to go. I mentioned blogs. You're like, oh yeah, by the way, I wrote down this review.
I mean, I have like 10 little things written down in front of me and I look at it once in a while and that just happened to be there. But okay, Halcyon label, I wanted to ask a little bit more about it because when you first started it, it really seemed like you had found this group of people who all of a sudden like kind of all emerged with really distinct sounds, and they were all interesting on their own merits for one reason or another. And I think that was what attracted me and probably a lot of other people to it right away, was just all of a sudden you had like 4 or 5 people all making really interesting, unique, sort of fresh sounding stuff all out of the gate. How did you find, like people like Phonon or, others from like that early Halcyon era? Like, what was it? Did you just know all these people already?
Yeah, the internet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, so I said, how everyone's not like sitting on SoundCloud trying to find the next underground artist.
You are.
I'm the guy doing that. I mean, hey, they're the talented ones. Like they're the fucking geniuses. I'm just on the computer clicking next until I'm like, oh, this is it. This rocks.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it I spend a lot of time listening to music. And also now I have a label manager too. And dude, that's literally all he does. Like,
yeah,
all fucking day. He's just going through SoundCloud, listening. And he like, we're on Discord, we have a Discord chat. He just like sends me music. And I'm like, And then when it's like, oh, this is sick, then we reach out. We're like, hey, we want to, work with you.
This is maybe an interesting question for any up and coming producers who are listening to this. For you, is it 100% music based for the label, or will there be times where, say, you find somebody, you really like their music, but then there's something else where you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, do you think about like, are they ready? Do you think about, do they have a concept? Do they have to bring something else to the table?
I don't care about any about that. Like, I mean, yeah, if you just have great music, that's important. I try not to work with like children, like minors. That's a big turnoff. Like ideally you're like over 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's an important thing for me. And then sometimes, like we'll sign good music and sometimes, they're kind of difficult to, work with. Like that happens sometimes where it's like not a smooth process. But, like that's fun. Like it's fine. That's a learning experience, right? Is like you never know. You just sign the music that rocks. You want to sign, but it's always a positive when they have great music and then it's like a really easy process to like get their release out. You know what I mean? Like they're attentive, they're down to do everything, just happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's great when that happens. But no, I'm not concerned about your like brand or I'm not like a manager. I'm not trying to, I just sign the songs. You know what I mean? I don't sign any artists. Like I don't have any investment in them. I only have the investment on the music that we release.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Well, what about from the artist side? How much would you say, just estimating, how much do you find like digging for music that you want to release versus music that is sent to you or pitched to you or, that sort
zero.
of thing?
No, we don't. We've had good demos before, but not anything like we're like, oh, we have to release this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, every single thing we've ever put out has been either with someone that we've worked with before, right? And we have a connection already. Either they're like someone that I've known before Halcyon and, we have a connection, or we've done releases with them, or we're literally going through SoundCloud and like listening to like clips or like showcase mixes. I said this before, showcase mixes are massive for like getting signed. If you want to get signed, put a fucking showcase mix, because we've done multiple EPs where we're just like, oh, we want the song at 2.35. We want the song at 5.44. We want the song. We literally just like sign a whole fucking EP off of like a showcase mix.
That's a really good tip. That I don't think that's ever been said on this show before. I like that a lot, because that's also, not only is that a good marketing idea, but I think that makes you think about how your music works in a larger context,
Yes.
The flow of it, putting it into a set. I think all of that eventually will probably actually make you a better producer when you start thinking about that kind of shit, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad we live in this era of like people putting out showcase mixes, because you're right. Like it contextualizes your music in a lot of way. And I feel like it solidifies kind of your identity, because you can hear so much of your art at once. And it really solidifies your vibe, I think.
And I think it's valuable for, if you're like me, if you're like an anxious artist who worries about, the presentation of something needing to be perfect and all that, it's a much better way to do it, because then people aren't going to sort of define you by one song. They're not going to associate you with the first thing they hear from you. I think that's a smart way to not only showcase yourself, but also to, not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. It's like a shot. It's like a musical shotgun. We'll see what happens.
Great image. Yeah. Oh, you know what I do want to ask you, because listening to the new album, there's a crazy range of influences of styles. You're jumping around from style to style, sound to sound in a great way. Very fun, like kept me interested the whole way. But I wanted to ask for you, what was your sort of aha moment with dance music? Like, if you think back, do you remember either like a live show experience or just a piece of music that you heard early on that really turned you on to electronic music?
Well, I don't think I have an aha moment as a producer, because I don't know.
Not even as a producer, just a fan.
Yeah. Oh, just as a fan.
Yeah.
Well, this actually, no, this ties back into my guitar thingy. So my sister was going to raves when I was like in metal bands and stuff. And she's like, listen to this fucking new song from the UK that I found. And I'm like, oh yeah, this rocks. You know,
what kind of music was it?
Into it. A lot of it was Euro beats at the time.
Sick, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, super Y2K.
Yeah.
But then eventually dubstep started kind of, you know, emerging like in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And then I got exposed to that. And I was like, oh, this is like all of the cool electronic music that my sister's been showing me, but like it's kind of like metal, like it's hardcore. and then so I got into dubstep that way. And I was like, I'm going to figure out how to make this, and started making it. So I guess my aha moment for like as a fan was just, I don't know, dubstep, hearing that and being like, whoa, like, because I liked electronic music. I wasn't, you know, super invested in it because I was a fucking metalhead.
Yeah.
And then when dubstep came around, that's when I was like, oh, this is like the new thing. Like, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life. Ministry of Sound Volume 2. That's what tapped me in 2010, I think. You can look it up on the internet. Was that the one that
had like all the early dubstep? Well, not early dubstep, but like, you know, emerging dubstep bangers on it.
It's definitely early, man. It's like, yeah, definitely.
Well, because I mean, I guess it depends on how you define it, because dubstep goes back to what, 2005, 2006, like.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, just like the originators, you know, Mala and Koki and all those guys, they were definitely making shit in like 2006, 2007.
Yeah. But dubstep wasn't really defined then, I don't think. Like, I think it was so loose. Like, a lot of the, like, they were making like two-step records, and I don't know. I feel like dubstep wasn't really like kind of defined yet until like that late 2000s. In my opinion. I don't know. I'm just some dude in America on the computer.
Here's what's cool. Here's what's cool, man, is you're right, but also I think somebody from that era would also be right saying that it started earlier, because we're sort of talking about different scenes. Like I just had Scuba on the podcast. I don't know if you know Scuba, but he's one of the originators. Like he was there at the very beginning of dubstep. And he was telling me a story, kind of like what you were saying earlier about like small group of friends. Like he was saying the first dubstep night basically was like him and maybe 50 other people. And they would just show up every week for like 2 years. And it was literally 50 to 100 people for a couple of years, just playing each other, you know, the new dub plate they had made on the club system. And that was it.
So cool.
And like, that's
awesome.
the origin of it. So for him, that's dubstep. And then when it sort of exploded and became this defined thing that you're talking about, for him, that's like the death of dubstep. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
of course.
Like
of course.
All of these realities exist at the same time, you know?
That's a really great point. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So I probably just made so many people super mad.
No, not at all. I wasn't saying it like that at all.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, like there are different check marks, like different points in like of its life, I guess.
It's like sending a kid off to college, you know, like it was an infant and you raised it, and then it left and went out into the world and became this whole other thing.
Yes.
And man, I love that. I mean, were there, talking about like those nights, did you start going out to events, or did you see anyone early on that left an impression on you?
I was too young. I just remember 12th Planet and Skrillex getting booked at this club called Voyeur in San Diego. And
I played the closing weekend of Voyeur.
You did, before it became like the beach club thing, which eventually closed down.
I was the last week there, and
it was dope.
It was cool. It's cool to talk about. It was a little sad to play it because there weren't a ton of people there, and you could kind of tell like the staff was checked out. And it sort of felt like it had already closed a little bit. It wasn't the greatest, but I am happy to say that. But hey,
it's a moment of history.
Exactly. Yeah. But so you saw him at Voyeur, Skrillex.
No. I wasn't old enough. This is what I'm sorry. I just saw them play it like on Facebook when I used that website.
Right.
Like Skrillex and 12 Point Out Voyeur, and like they had the big LED wall, and there's like girls like in like the little square. I'm like, this is so fucking cool. I want to go so bad. And like me, I was like 16 years old. I can't go. So I just remember all that. So as soon as I could start going to raves, I did. The second I turned 18, I was like in LA, Orange County, everywhere. I like would literally spend every dollar I had to go to a party because I was dying to go to dubstep shows.
What kind of stuff were you seeing out in LA? Like once you really started going?
Dubstep, fucking.
But
like,
what are we talking? We talking about like big festival stuff? We talking about little underground stuff?
No. Club shows. Like one of my like earliest club shows was Future Events. Tony Marino before Bass Rush.
Shout out Tony Marino.
Yeah, we love Tony Marino. He booked 50 Carats, Lost. I'm trying to. Oh man, I feel like I'm missing so many dope artists. I don't know. It was a really, really cool. It was like the era of like. I'm just gonna name people from that era.
Yeah, please.
None of them played. Like Dark Elixir, D Josta, 12 Gauge, Trollface, like that era, like that style. So yeah, I was going to those like Buca's Finest. I was going to those shows often, and it was a good time because it was before it kind of became a little more commercial. So everyone there was like kind of this hipster almost, if that makes sense.
Oh,
like,
of course. Yeah.
Everyone was into this niche thing and it was a cool vibe. So yeah.
I mean, those are the best moments, man, when you know you've how do I want to say this? I think the best times are when you know that you've sort of found something cool, but not everybody knows that it's cool yet. Those are the best times, you know?
Yeah.
It's the most exciting times.
Yeah. And then everyone there is also like on that same wavelength. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You all have this connection because you know that you found this cool thing, and just the fact that you care enough to like show up for it when it's not cool in the mainstream yet connects you to everybody else there. I mean, I guess we're just defining what a community is, but like that's to me
there's everyone's serious about it is the thing. Like this is not some like blase Friday night type thing. Like people are committed in what's happening.
Yeah, 100%, man. And it's different than an online community. Online communities are great, but I think finding the physical IRL community like that, there's something so human. That's just like a universally great feeling, you know?
And this goes back to you asked me about like the state of dubstep. I feel like we lost it. Like when I was starting out, like when I was going to raves, that was definitely a thing. When I started my producing and had my friend group, it was definitely a thing. People like it felt so sincere and like, I don't know, intimate and like passionate. And I feel like I'm talking shit right now, but I feel I feel like we've lost a lot of that sincerity and like passion. It feels more like, this sounds so crazy. Okay. Before it felt like this artisanal pizza, like made by someone who loves making pizza, and it was served in like a tiny shop that not really anybody knew about, but they cared so much about the craft.
Family-owned business.
Yes. And the locals know, and they would come and be like, this guy's got the best pizza, but it wasn't a big thing. Now I feel like it's Little Caesars.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's capitalism, man. That's how it works, you know?
It is. Oh,
because
God.
It's the eternal problem. This goes back to art versus commerce. You make art that enough people like, and eventually it will blow up and get commodified. And there's no way to avoid it at a certain point, you know? Unless say you're the person blowing up, unless you like consciously decide to stop your own momentum, I think it's absolutely unavoidable that eventually it's what you're doing is going to get commodified and, you know, more generic and all of it. Like, it's an impossible thing. It's weird.
Yeah. This is a whole other conversation. See, this is when I get into like I don't have the emotional or intellectual bandwidth right now. But all I want to say is that capitalism gives me fucking night terrors.
Dude, it's getting weirder every day. I mean, we could do a whole nother podcast just about this, but I mean, I think it sounds like you and I are more or less aligned on that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, it's just weird that, because when I started, I didn't have, like, capitalism and dance music were two separate concepts, you know?
Yes.
And now they're very much not, or at least it's much harder to separate them. It's a weird thing.
It's bizarre. No, 100%.
Yeah, who fucking knows, man? But I think it does go back to me, I've kind of accepted it. It's like, okay, that's what's going to happen. That's fine. But for me now, I get excited thinking about not when it's going to like blow up or crumble, but I kind of think about like every cycle, every sound, every style has like a rise and fall. And it's going to be very interesting when it's on the decline a little bit, because I think that's when a lot of interesting shit is going to come out. Because like you were saying, the people who were in those clubs early on, who everybody cared about it, those are the people who are still going to be there. And, you know, whoever they bring along with them, whatever next generation, that I think is when we're going to get a lot of the interesting shit bubbling up to the surface, you know?
I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, let's burn it down. Fuck it.
Let's go. I just love new and exciting things, and just let's keep it fresh. Let's keep it interesting. I don't want to see anybody like, you know, lose their livelihood or anything like that.
No, but of course.
I want I like keeping it interesting, keeping it fresh, keep it going, keep pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, we have to, man. There's got to be turnover of creative ideas with all of that, because like you said, I'm not advocating for anyone to lose their livelihood, but it's with every wave, with every movement, there's, you know, a few figureheads who end up being like the face of that movement and have crazy success, and they blow up. And a lot of the, you know, the 95% of the people who come after them trying to do the same thing, it's not going to get in. Even if you are cool and have cool ideas, you can't like get more water out of that stone, you know, like you kind of have to find a new one.
Wait, wow, that's so interesting you say that. I had this like philosophy where about picking fruit off of trees. Okay, and I feel like a lot of people are trying to eat off the same tree, like pick the same fruits.
Dude.
So I was like, I'm just going to go to like the tree that's over there that has different fruit and just eat that.
Dude, 100%. And this is actually a great analogy, because this is also, people get used to eating the same fruit, right? And then all of a sudden you're at the other tree and you're like, you know, this fruit's pretty good too. You should try this one. But it's so hard to get people who are accustomed to the one thing to try the new thing. And that's kind of the secret sauce. That's the alchemy. If you can figure that out, then you're a genius, you know? But you're right. That's exactly right. And if you, to take it back to your environmental thing, if you overpick from one tree, then, you know, we're all going to run out of food too, right? Yep, creatively. Exactly. Yeah, man.
You got it. It's in your brain now. You got it. I was just thinking when I was like, wow, I'm onto something here.
No, you were cooking for a minute there. That was good. Oh man. Well, what is so I mean, the album, for when people hear this, will be out. It's fantastic. I think people are really going to dig it. For you at this point, what happens next? Like, are you gonna take this on tour for a while? Do you have plans for where you want to take the project in the future? Like you as an artist project, as Oolacile?
Wow, I love this question. I have so many answers. I'm definitely not going on tour. Well, first of all, I don't have like an agent or a manager. I literally do everything on my own. Like I did all of the art for this on my own. I'm pushing it through my own label.
So cool.
I'm lucky that I have I'm friends with some promoters, right? So I'm lucky I can do the Space Yacht show, because they're like, I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to do an album. They're like, let's do a show. I'm like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm lucky that I have that, but I don't have the ability to be like, oh, I'm going to play in this city and this city, that city. And also, I don't think people would even come. I don't think I'm hot like that, like to sell hundreds of tickets across America right now. So no, there's no plans for that. And honestly, I'm just playing every day by ear, just trying to chug along. Like I'm still literally right now. Well, this is okay. I'm still working on, as of recording this, like the final assets for the release. I'm
of course.
Working on it. So it's like going to be ready like for every day, like every social media post. I'm still working on it. But yeah, then after it comes out, I don't know. Hopefully people like it. And I'm going to go back to doing Halcyon releases. And then I'm going to hopefully sleep for a month because I need it desperately. And then after that, the future of my career, I want to make multiple aliases because I want to really develop different kind of musical identities.
Yeah.
Like I already have like multiple EPs like made right now for all these projects. Yeah. I just need to, kind of develop like the brand identity and stuff, but I want to do that. So I'm going to probably do a couple different, like multiple aliases. And I'm excited to do that. I'm going to give you the hot people who are listening. So I'm going to like try to pivot Oolacile, this project, into something that's more like multi-genre, like the album, right?
Right.
Still DJ-y, like kind of still club oriented, but just, different, like more eclectic vibes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to move all of my dubstep to like a different thing, like hard dubstep, if that makes sense. Like I'm still making it. It's just going to be somewhere else.
Right.
And then I'm also going to do a techno thing, which is so fun. Like, oh man, I wish I could show you. And maybe after we hang up, we're not hang up, but stop. I'll show you this track that me and Nushi made.
That'd be great. I love Nushi.
Nushi's so good. Yeah, it's a techno track. And then I'm going to play it in LA. And then I want to do like a more vocal, like singy, like project, like poppier vibes.
There were some, I liked a lot of you had some hyper pop kind of influences on the album that I really liked.
Thank you.
Yeah. Interesting song. Is it, do you sing? I know you were working.
I sing on a lot. I sing on like a lot of the songs. Yeah. But I also have featured artists. So like the first song, Blindness, is with Kate. And then I have the Jed Will collab where he sings. And then all of the other vocals are either me or like a sample that I'm going to get sued for eventually.
Right.
But no, hopefully I like manipulate him. Like I really tried to like freak him so that.
That's the thing, man. There's so many ways to mask samples, and I just come from the era before all of this got so regulated. So to me, it was just like, I understand the legal risks and I understand why labels don't want to take those risks. But at the same time, to me, I'm like, no, you can definitely use anything you want.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I say half the time. Like, I mean, well, that's kind of shitty because in my agreement is like, if we get sued, it's your fault. Like there's like literally a line. It's like, if you have a sample that you did not clear, that's on you. It's not on me.
Well, and I think that's fair. I
genuinely believe that like 99% of the time, it's not that serious. Dude, you're releasing a fucking dubstep song. Like this is not going to be in front of 10 million people. You know what I mean? Like you're okay. You're okay.
Well, and if you're getting sued for a sample, that probably means that your song did pretty good. So,
yeah, so you're already fine, dude. Right. Yeah. You're already good. Yeah.
Cuz that's how pop music works. I mean, there's there will be a Billboard top 40 song that then they get sued for a sample, and then it's like, all right, yeah, give them a few million and I'll keep my other millions. And that's basically when people are getting sued for samples.
It's also funny now. I think it's like really, this is so funny. I feel like they're stretching so hard. Like someone will just sue them. Like, I think this sounds kind of like a song I made 10 years ago.
And then they'll like do a suit. That's the Marvin Gaye estate thing, right? Yeah.
What's it?
Blurred Lines.
Yeah, Blurred Lines.
Yeah.
I was dancing to it in my head and not able to vocalize.
Yeah. The Blurred Lines, the rapiest pop song in the last like 10 years.
Oh God.
That song, man.
Maybe
what
it deserved
nightmare.
a lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about like Robin Thicke as a person, but that song is not the message of that song is not great.
Bad vibes.
Bad vibes in that song. Yeah.
Bad vibes.
But
they should rename Blurred Lines to Bad Vibes.
Bad vibes, exactly. But to your point, people are starting to stretch to be like, yeah, you use this same, these same 3 chords, so you should pay me. And it's a little iffy. But again, these aren't problems that we're going to have unless,
Oh, dude, I wish. I would love to deal with these problems. That'd be great.
Exactly. Those are problems that rich people have.
Yes.
Oh, man. I did see this. So I was going back through and listening to older songs of yours that are on my hard drive that I really liked. One I forgot about was the song Soul Slinger.
Yeah.
You remember that song? Which is what, 2016, I think, something like that. Yeah. And I played the shit out of that when it came out, and I was re-listening to it and then kind of thinking about the new album. And I just wanted to ask you in general, like, I feel like you've always had a really cool sense of rhythm. Like the rhythm pocket of your songs has always been really like funky and interesting and unique. And I don't know if you identify with that, but I wanted to ask you just in general, like, where does that come from? Because if you're coming from like metal and that sort of thing, that not always the funkiest music, but no. I feel like you have it somehow.
That's really kind and makes me feel very validated because I definitely do not resonate with that at all. I think I kind of suck at that a little bit. I think I've gotten better at it.
There's a lot of cool rhythms on the new album, man. I think I'm getting there. I'm trying my best, you know. But that makes me really happy that you say that. No, I like syncopation. I like things that aren't super rigid. Is how I would say it. So I when I make music, I lean to things that are less rigid. I like syncopation, like things that are broken, kind of. Yeah. Like to me, that's comfortable. I've made music that I think is like, oh, this is so comfortable, and people are like, this is fucking trash. How did you even put this on the internet? I'm like, what do you mean? It makes perfect sense. It sounds so good. What are you talking about? I think you can see it with the artist you signed to Halcyon too. I mean, I mentioned him earlier, but someone like Phonon is, that music is just brain-breakingly wild.
He's very extravagant.
Absolutely. But, if you were attracted to what he was doing early on enough to make him one of the, early artists on the label, I think that makes sense. If maybe that's what you're attracted to. Yeah.
He rocks. He's super good. I love that dude. We should actually do a whole nother episode where we just praise Phonon because he deserves everything. That guy is actually a genius. And I love how he shook up bass music and had people so mad on the internet because he just a little goofy dude in his bedroom and made a dubstep song that was in 7/4 and set the internet on fire. Like, that is so fucking cool. Like, can you imagine? So cool. That's the craziest shit.
It's so cool. Yeah, no, I love those moments. I mean, he's like the jazz of dubstep. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Wait, I don't know if you heard his song that we did called Emmy. You should check it out.
I don't know if
we did it as a single. It's called Emmy. So it's EMME. It's like me backwards. I don't know.
Got it.
But it's like 10 minutes long and
I did hear
fucking
that.
Crazy.
Yeah. Once you said 10 minutes, I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. Yeah. Breaking down the like the walls of it, being like, why does it have to be a 3-minute song? Why does it have to have this format? I love people who throw that stuff out the window, man.
It's funny because my album, I do the opposite. A lot of the songs are like 2 minutes at most.
That,
like,
you know what's
half the
funny is
record
I've been doing that a lot lately too, and having a lot of fun with it. It's kind of on a punk rock vibe of just, you know, this is the idea that I had.
Yep.
That's how long it is. It doesn't have to be longer, you know?
I mean, we talked about this earlier. Like, I would overwork stuff and spend too much time. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of this stuff I just made in a day. I'm like, okay, this is the song.
Yeah.
And it's done. Like, I'm not going to like stress myself out about like an unnecessary second drop or like trying to make it longer because I think it needs to be longer. I just hear it. I'm like, oh, this sounds good.
Yep.
We're good.
Yep.
It's done.
Dude, I love it. No, it's so punk. And you're following in a long tradition of people who have had that concept. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's just, it doesn't exist in dance music so much. So it's cool to hear it in that context.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I don't know if I have that much more. I mean, I feel like we're kind of wrapping up, and you should just come back for another episode sometime, because this is fucking fun, man.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad that we did this, dude.
Dude, I'm so
happy. One more high five. One more high five.
That's the third. 3 high fives. That's a record for the podcast. Plus, I mean, I was looking, doing some research. It seems like you haven't done a ton of interviews in general. So I feel honored that you would come and do it, man.
Well, yeah, of course. I told you, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the show. I'm stoked to be on this.
I'm a fan of yours too, man. Absolutely.
That's very kind. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just on Discord making music, playing Counter-Strike 2.
You a big gamer in general?
I used to be a huge gamer. I love video games. Dude, my name's Oolacile. It's literally fucking taken from Dark Souls. Like, I'm an absolute nerd. But now that I have a mortgage and a partner and a cat and people, like all these things to navigate, I don't have as much time to get invested in it like I used to. But
I hear you, man. For me, it's like I'm lifelong nerd, and I was always friends with huge gamers, and I would be the one watching them play the game. Like, I was never the player. I was always the guy watching the player. But for me, it's like I'll have like one game a year that just destroys my life for, I'll just fall off the face of the earth playing it for like a month. But
what are they? Can you
right now, I mean, examples? I just started Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah, that's going to destroy your life for sure.
That's going to be a problem. Yeah, that's going to be a big
problem.
So
I want to get into that. So I haven't bought that. So that's going to ruin my life too, which is when I'm done with the album and done doing the shows. And I have I think 2 more Halcyon releases I have to do this year.
Right.
But then I'm like totally off, like for a month. Baldur's Gate 3 for sure. And also Armored Core.
That looks cool. Somebody else was talking to me about Armored Core lately. It's funny, man, because I'm much more of a tabletop gamer than a video gamer, but that's become huge for me now, only in like the last, like later in life. Like once I turned like 30, I was like, I just tabletop only. I don't know what happened.
What do you mean? What tabletop games do you do? D&D?
I do D&D heavy. I'm very serious about D&D.
Wait, do you know a DM? Because I've been trying to do like a Discord D&D game since COVID, but no one would ever DM.
I mean, I can definitely, I know some DMs, but I also probably more helpfully know like resources where you can. The thing about finding a good DM or finding a good group, it's like dating, kind of. Like you kind of have to like date around a little bit to find the one that's right for you. When
it's finally fun, you're like, we're trying this. This game kind of sucks.
Yeah, and everybody's got to be on the same page about what they want out of it. And do you like the combat? Do you like the role playing aspects? Do you want to mix? All that. It could be so many different things, but I'll send you more links than you ever wanted about this. Cause
perfect.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I'm serious about it. I had a group in San Diego, then we all kind of went to different places in the world. So now we do the online thing once a week. It's
valid. It's totally valid to do it online.
It's the best, dude. It's like a major component of like me having a good, healthy, emotional life at this point.
Is your weekly D&D Discord session?
Dude, 100%. Yeah.
That's awesome. Like I totally feel it, bro. I totally feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it just gaming? You have other non-musical interests? What do you spend time doing?
Working, like literally, as I said, I don't have a lot of time. I'm just doing label stuff.
What would you be doing? What would you be doing?
Definitely gaming for sure. I love RPGs. I love JRPGs specifically. There's a few that I want to play right now. But yeah, I would definitely be gaming. And then probably exploring the world with my partner, like touching grass or dirt because I live in Vegas.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your hobbies?
I mean, a lot of it is like the RP, like D&D stuff, like live play, role-playing games and tabletop stuff. But I mean, that's my biggest hobby. What are my other hobbies? Comedy. I like to go out to see comedy, live comedy.
Do you do any yourself?
No. It's a funny thing where I think anyone who likes comedy, you once in a while have a thought of like, I could do that. But no, man, it's hard. It's like what we do. Like you can't just show up and do it, you know?
Oh, hell no. But every so often, I don't know, dude, sometimes I think I'm so funny, but it's not like stand up. I'm just like, wow, I'm like really on one right now. Like
you can feel
I've been funny for an hour.
Yeah. You can, when you're on a roll, when you get hot, that's a great feeling.
Yeah. But it's very different than like getting out the notebook and like, okay, this is a joke.
Right.
That seems impossible to me. That seems like an impossible
I think
task.
It's maybe the toughest one because you're on stage, just you and a microphone, no gear, no turntables, no band, no nut. It's just you talking. I mean, that's a tough one.
It's super vulnerable. And if you bomb, they're like, I know for a fact in their mind, they're like, wow, I'm fucking bombing right now. And they have to like continue to talk and try to be funny. And it's just like, crickets.
Oh, dude. And think about doing that for an hour.
That's what No, they're not, dude. The only people who are doing it for an hour are like
the pros.
The pros. Yeah. And that's like that's a gift. You know what I mean? They're just funny. They're just
100%. No. And stand-up comedy definitely brings a lot to my life. I'm just a fan. I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts too.
Do you live in LA?
I live in Washington, D.C., actually.
Oh, okay. Wait, do you have a good comedy club there?
Yeah, the DC Improv is kind of like a legendary sort of like old school comedy club. But yeah, it's pretty well known for being like the spot in this region.
Awesome.
What about in Vegas? Because I know like obviously there's like the comedy clubs in the casinos, but I feel like those are for like Jerry Seinfeld and no one else, you know?
No, the comedy scenes here sucks. I mean, I lived in LA and that was great.
LA's amazing, yeah.
Like you could go 2-3 times a week and just see like a celebrity like that you've seen in movies and TV and just like Netflix specials for like $10, like constantly. And then, but I think the best comedy culture is in New York City.
New York's definitely in that conversation. I mean, it's either New York or LA. There's no other. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I've gone to New York, I just get blessed with the craziest comedy ever.
So do you go out to club? You see stand up too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not in Vegas because the scene sucks here. Right. But when I was living in LA, I would go often. And then every time I'm in New York, I always try to go to the Comedy Cellar. No, I don't try. I always go to the Comedy Cellar every time I'm there. Yeah.
Legendary spot, man. Yeah. There's something to, this is something I talk about all the time, but there's something I find so fun and valuable and like creatively refreshing about just being a fan of something without feeling like I have to participate in it. Like I love being a fan of something, and just like getting excited, buying a ticket to go see the show. It's like I'm a kid again, like I don't ever want to stop doing that. I find it so fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. I still do this with music. Like
I do too.
I often buy tickets to shows often. I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like So, I'm obviously very jaded with dubstep. So that's a whole thing that's just destroyed in my life that will never be redeemed.
Yeah.
But I definitely still have that joy and participate as a fan in music. And it's good. It's good to not exactly like insert yourself as a part of it, just be there, participating and like enjoying it.
Yeah, of course, man. Because I think it's easy to sort of, like you were saying, like you've ruined dubstep for yourself, which I know is a joke, but it's like also not a joke in some ways, right? Where it's like, you can't just be the fan of it that you once were, right?
Exactly.
And
exactly right.
I totally relate to that because it's, you know too much now, it's like, and I feel the same way about a lot of dance music, honestly, where it's like, the dance music will always be, it's my heart, it's my love, it's more or less my life at this point. But of course, that doesn't mean that it fulfills me in the same way as something where I can just show up and be a kid again,
Yep. Yeah. Brain off. You're just there to enjoy it. Let it wash over you. It's not that serious.
I've been getting back into, I grew up like a metalhead kid too. And I've been getting back into going to metal shows again, which I hadn't done for a while. And man, it's so much fun.
Bro, I'm going to bring my partner in and be like, you have to, dude, all the time. My partner, I just talk their ear off all the time. They're like, they want me to shut up all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, babe, I want to beat somebody up right now. Like, I want to crowd bash. Like, I'm trying, I want to be in a pit so bad. I want to hear the fucking chugs. I want to split the room. Like, cause that's what I was doing as a kid. And like that energy, I haven't been able to let that out. You cannot do it at a fucking dubstep show. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a whole different energy. Like, so dubstep is like here, fucking hardcore is like
oh yeah,
through the roof.
Well,
like,
and there's an
trying
ethos.
To get concussed.
Yeah, right. But also like there's the hardcore moshing and all of that. Like there's such an ethos and a history and a culture behind it. Whereas the dubstep moshing to me, I get like it's aggression. It's kind of like how I was with nu metal when like I first heard Korn and Slipknot and all that. But to me, it's less that kind of like moshing and aggression is just less interesting to me.
It's push. They push. Yeah, it's the same. Dubstep, they push.
Oh, no. For sure. Yeah,
hardcore is literally you're fighting.
You're fighting, but also you're taking care of people more too. Like it's a weird community thing. Like it seems like a contradiction, but it's actually to me more of a community and also more violent.
I don't know. It gets pretty fucked up. Like, I mean, there's definitely. I'd say the general consensus.
Consensus. Yeah.
Yes, you got it. Thank you, brother. Is more like it's pretty respectful, but there's always like if you're not participating the way they want you to participate, you're gonna get fucked up. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So it's pretty brutal.
Oh, it's absolutely brutal. But there's something about it. I think everyone just understands why they're there. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. You should check out this band. Do you know this metal band called Tomb Mold? Like TOMBMOLD.
Tomb Mold?
Tomb Mold. They just
know.
Put out a new album that I think you would fucking love. As far as talking about like things that fit into the mold but break the mold at the same time. It's this.
That's amazing.
It's this very progressive, almost jazzy, but still totally brutal death metal band.
Yeah, it looks like death metal. The art.
It is death metal. It's 100% death metal, but it's extremely proficient. They go into like weird time signatures and chord changes. It's very musical at the same time. I don't know what kind of metal you're into, but I would highly recommend
all
them.
of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Check out Tumult. The new they just put out a new album.
Is it like Necrophagist type vibes?
Not exactly. I mean,
that's like tech death. Like,
yeah. They're technical, but I would say, okay, we'll bring it all the way around. Like your new album, it's more about the music than it is the brutality and the technicality. Awesome. Like they are extremely technical and they have wild ideas, but they never let that get in the way of like the musical idea. Yeah.
I'm excited to listen to this.
I love it, dude. I love it. I mean, I think
thank you for tapping me in.
Dude, I thank you for being on this podcast. I feel like this is a great way to wrap it up. Like, button on it, bring up the new album, recommend some new music. It's what we could all do with. And I feel great. This was so much fun. I'm so happy, dude. Hey, I'll be on the show tomorrow too. Yeah, dude. You are literally anytime you want, man. This is so much. I was about to say this is so much more fun than most of the episodes I do, but there's some truth to that. Yeah. Well, because sometimes like people will come on the show and this isn't a bad thing, but it ends up being kind of a more straightforward interview of just like, how did you get here? Where were you born? What was this like? You know, and you kind of go down the timeline with people. Yeah. And I like doing that too, but ideally I would like it to be more like this, you know? A chat. Yeah, we're just having a chat. Yeah, exactly, man. But, you know, not every DJ, not every producer is like that used to or comfortable in the format. Well, here's the thing. I think maybe the rigid, like I have these questions and I get the answers might be more enjoyable to some listeners than us talking about random tangents for an hour and a half. Maybe it is. But for us, it's better. Well, and I think I've weeded out those people at this point. I think people listening to this at this point know that it's pretty much what you hear is what you're going to get. And I don't know. I've tried to keep it on the rails sometimes, but I think if people who have been listening to this show for long enough kind of know that it's not my strong suit. Like I'm not a journalist over here, you know? Well, hello, Willy Joy listener. That's driving to Ohio in their sedan. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I see you. Your Toyota Yaris. And I love you. And thank you for supporting Willy Joy for all these years. Hey, I mean, amen. Yeah, I could not be more grateful. But also, thank you for enabling guys like you to do what you do, man. All of it. I mean, everything we do is community built, right? Like it has to be. Yeah. It's the only thing that's meaningful, you know? There's acts out there that aren't community built, and that's fine, but it's not the shit I end up caring about long term, you know? Yeah. It's all for the culture. It's all about the fun and, you know, bringing each other up and, you know, just participating in good times. To put a bow on it, man, thank you for doing this. I appreciate you, and come back anytime. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, Love you. Love Smooshies. You too. Peace.